Hello my soccer universe. Thanks to Liga Portugal, this review video of the entire weekend comes on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you all. And we had quite a big weekend. There were two outstanding games. We had a top clash in Spain with Atletico Madrid performing an absolute steal at the Montjuic. But we also had a big clash in the Netherlands with PSV more or less asserting themselves onto this league. It will be a major upset if they don't win the Eredivisie again. We also had quite some interesting results in the Premier League. I mean, Villa beating City. Although, meanwhile, this might not be that much of a surprise, but especially the absolute craziness that was Tottenham against Liverpool. Speaking of craziness, the absurdest win of the entire year, I would argue, happened by Mainz, who were a man down, completely outplayed, and still managed to win 3-1. And then I shouldn't forget the three-way races in Spain, already mentioned it a little bit, and of course in Portugal, where we have a new leader, and we have a pretty big one at the end of the year. But I would say, let's start with the big clash in the Netherlands. The top clash in the Eredivisie ended in a clear win for PSV. It's a 3-0 over Feyenoord. Especially in the first half, PSV were much the better team. Controlled Feyenoord left and right, put them under pressure and got two goals through Noah Lang and Luc de Jong. Yes, around the 40th minute, Feyenoord could have gotten back into the game by hitting the post at one point, but was not really there. However, after the half, Feyenoord had two really good chances. One where they hit the crossbar even, and from that chance, it is then Tillman who makes it 3-0 after a Noah Lang assist. And then it was smooth sailing. Chucky Lozano came on and to raucous crowd support, and it was all celebration for PSV, who are now fully set on defending the Eredivisie title. In the other Sora top clash, AZ get a 1-0 over Twente thanks to a Parrot goal. Who else? And Ajax move up into second place thanks to 2-0 away at Sparta Rotterdam. The goals coming late. Kenneth Taylor converts a penalty at 77th, and then Bertrand Traoré 10 minutes later makes the final scoreline. And Ajax also move into second place because Utrecht lose at home to Sitter 2-5 despite having the lead twice. It was actually a 2-2 game in the 75th minute, but then it all fell apart within 10 minutes for Utrecht, who kind of hit their ceiling at the moment. The final Bundesliga round before the winter break saw the fastest 1-1 in the opening game on Friday between Bayern and Leipzig. Musiala's first minute goal was quickly cancelled out by Sesco's second minute equalizer. Never before had two teams scored within 120 seconds. However, it is Bayern who run out emphatic winners thanks to Conny Laimer re-establishing the lead for Bayern at 25th minute, and then Kimmich adding a third one just before the half in the second half. Then it's Sané and Davies that make the very clear scoreline, and also a good win for the team harmony. The Main derby between Frankfurt and Mainz was an all Mainz affair, but it was a kind of a crazy game. First off, Mainz take the lead through an hilariously catastrophic Caus Santos own goal, the goalie of Frankfurt, and then go even down a man as Amir is sent off in the 21st minute. Still, Nebel gives Mainz the 2-0 lead on the counter-attack, and he himself in the 58th makes it 3-0. Frankfurt completely unsorted, and yes, their great start to the season has come a little bit to a halt. When Christensen pulled one back in the 70th minute, you had kind of the feeling that with a man more, Frankfurt could get into it, but Mainz hold on, defend valiantly, and get a big win in the derby. Meanwhile, Gladbach continued their good form, getting a 2-1 away win at Hoffenheim. Sander and Player scoring the two goals in between. Kramaric had made it 1-1 with a penalty, but that then was quickly answered by Player. Another eye-catching and lopsided result was Holstein Kiel 5, Augsburg 1, and Augsburg took a 5th minute lead through Claude Maurice. However, Rosenbaum very quickly equalizes in the 12th minute, and then between the 32nd and 39th, Kiel actually run up the score to 4-1 and even scored then very late on a 5th. Another surprise result was St. Pauli winning 1-0 at Stuttgart thanks to former Lask player Jojo Eggestein, who scores the winning goal, but he also misses a penalty. He went straight down the middle. However, Stuttgart goalie Nübel was standing up. Absolutely loved that save. Stuttgart was really let down by their finishing, and so it ends with a shocking 1-0 win for St. Pauli. Meanwhile, Werder Bremen get a 4-1 win thanks in part to Marco Grull scoring a first half race. And then in the evening game, it was all Leverkusen, although it took a while. Florian Wirtz saw a penalty saved, but then Patrick Schick gives Leverkusen the lead just before the half against Freiburg. And then in the second half, Wirtz makes it 2-0 and 3 more goals by Schick, making a very emphatic 5-1 scoreline. The title race is on. Leverkusen is kinda keeping up with Bayern, the only team that's left. Meanwhile on Sunday, Bochum get their first win of the season with a 2-0 over Heidenheim. Yes, they have protested the draw against Union Berlin, to be decided, but they have the first win of the season and maybe there's hope for Bochum. And in the final game before the winter break, Dortmund went to inform Wolfsburg and beat them 3-1 thanks to 3 goals in 5 minutes in the first half. Malen, Bayer and Brandt scoring. Wavro pulled one back, then Gross is sent off for Dortmund. However, Wolfsburg really cannot mount a comeback. Manchester City remain in a major funk, losing at Aston Villa 2-1, fully deserved so. It was a great Villa performance and very lackluster one by Manchester City. Jon Duran, already in the 60th minute, after plenty of chances, gave Villa the 1-0 halftime lead. That was then doubled by Rodgers after a nice McGinn assist in the 65th minute. Rodgers, one of the men of the match. And then Villa more or less saw it out. Yes, Foden with his first goal of the season pulls one back very late on. This is City's 7th loss in 10 games in all competitions. Definitely a bad record. And with Guardiola actually managed a turnaround. Ole Einar and Antonio Langa score in a 2-0 win for Forest at Brentford, meaning that they keep the 3-point cushion over Villa and remain in 4th place. Newcastle also get a rather impressive 4-0 away win at Ipswich with Anthony Isak scoring a hat-trick, and West Ham manage a 1-1 draw to Brighton after being down through a FIFA goal, but they then equals through Kudus shortly thereafter. Not much between those two. And in the evening game, Crystal Palace will surely be happy to see the back of Gabriel Jesus, who after scoring a hat-trick against them in the League Cup scores 2 more, the first 2 goals in Arsenal's 5-1 away win. However, that 5-1 is a little bit deceiving because Arsenal were rather ruthless, and in a frantic opening phase, yes, Jesus scored 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, but there was also an equalized by Sarr in there. Jesus then heads it onto the crossbar that Havertz can tap home to end the first half at 3-1. In the second half though, Palace came out and had plenty of chances. There had to be some good saves by Raya in there before Martinelli makes it 4-1, then laid on Declan Rice adds a 5th for a rather lopsided scoreline. Downside for Arsenal though, they lose Bukayo Saka, maybe with a muscle injury, however he went away with crutches, so it could be more. On Sunday we had quite a few surprising results in the Premier League. I mean, Everton holding a 0-0 against high-flying Chelsea and stopping their winning streak surely was not on everyone's list. First half I think Chelsea were a little bit better. Everton had a little bit luck because Madueke hit the post, but in the second half it was actually Robert Sanchez that made a few saves and Everton could have snatched a winner. So I guess the draw is alright. Everton fans rejoicing, the Friedkins are in. However, don't ask Roma fans about that. And the second 0-0 draw happened in London, where Fulham only managed a 0-0 against Southampton, the Saints holding tight. Meanwhile, under new coach Ferreira, Wolves get a 3-0 win at Leicester. All goals happening as first half. Guedes completely forgotten by the defense in the 90th minute, and Gomes and Cunha add 2 more. And any new manager bounce for Ruben Amorim is already gone. United lose 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. And it's not that Bournemouth were so overwhelming United, it's just that they were ruthless. Heisen at 29th minute more or less converts the first chance in the game, I would even argue. And United cannot get much together in the first half. And then they give away a penalty. Kluivert converts the 61st, and 2 minutes later Semenyo makes it 3-0. Not a happy Christmas. Short break for United. And then the round ended with an absolutely nuts game between Tottenham and Liverpool, and we need a moniker for this game. I would suggest Battle of the Birds. Maybe you have a better name out there. It ends Tottenham 3, Liverpool 6. However, the scoreline is really deceiving because Liverpool were bossing this game so much. I mean, Tottenham at time had no foot in the game. Or in the second minute, Salah needs to make it 1-0 when Fraser Forster gives him the ball. They take it in the 23rd minute when a cross by Alexander-Arnold is converted by Luis Diaz, and then McAllister in the 36th, 2-0. Game more or less done back then. However, James Maddison pulls us back in the 41st, quickly answered by Szoboszlai, assisted by Salah just before the halftime break. Then Salah himself scores a brace to make it 5-1. At that point, the game was done. Salah is now in 4th place in the all-time Liverpool scoring charts. Maybe the one thing at Liverpool will not be happy about is that they almost let Spurs back into the game, because Kulusevski in 72nd and then in the 83rd Solanke shortened the scoreline to 3-5. The game was never really in doubt. However, needed then Luis Diaz, another Salah assist to really put the game to rest. 3-6, this could have been 5-12. This was an absolutely bonkers game, defending very much optional, but fun to watch. However, not so much fun if you're a Spurs fan, and I think Ange Postecoglou is in real trouble at the moment, and he doesn't seem like he has found any answers. Girona started out the La Liga weekend with an emphatic 3-0 win over bottom of the table Real Valladolid. The decisive goals came late in the first half through Lopez and Ruiz in the 31st and 39th, and then Danjuma adds one in the 81st minute. Real Mallorca continued their great run, potentially into Europe, winning 1-0 at Getafe thanks to a Carl Larin penalty. Celta Vigo are also another very much up and down team. This time they beat Real Sociedad at home thanks to a brace by Pablo Duran, both goals coming shortly before the halftime. And one of Spain's greater regional rivalries, Osasuna lose at home to Athletic Club 1-2 despite having a 1-0 lead in the 25th minute. However, Guruceta quickly equalizes, assisted by Iñaki Williams, and then Berenguer in 74th minute gets the winner for Athletic Club, who are more or less Champions League bound in that form. On Saturday evening, we witnessed an absolute robbery at the Montjuic with Atletico Madrid beating Barcelona 2-1 away from home, snatching a winner with more or less the last kick of the game by Soros in the 96th minute. It was so reminiscent, the entire game, of Atletico's win at PSG a couple of weeks ago. Barcelona absolutely dominated the first half, created chances, played beautiful stuff. Atletico Madrid were really very much on the back foot, did not know what to do, and Barca actually rewarded themselves with a nice attack in the 30th minute when Pedri ran through, played the ball to Gavi, who I don't think meant to give it back to Pedri, but it happened this way. Pedri takes a shot, slight deflection, 1-0 Barca, fully deserved, and Barca could have killed off the game when Rafinha early in the second half sees Oblak completely out of position and lobs onto the crossbar. Lewandowski was not there either. That would have killed the game. However, it is then an attack by Atletico Madrid where the ball falls to the Paul, who in the 60th minute gets an equalizer with more or less the first shot on goal for Atleti in the entire game. And then it was Barca that really wanted to get that win. Put loads of pressure on Atletico. However, if you miss chances like the one by Ferran Torres where he cannot get his feet sorted, you're not gonna win. Dani Olmo also in attack frequently lost balls, but it was always the impetus for Barca going forward, looking for that winner, and Jan Oblak making save after save after save. And then it is Rafinha in stoppage time, pushing for that winner, playing a ball, losing it. A ball comes out to the pal on the right. Molina making a run, completely getting away from his man, making the run into the box, seeing Soroth on the side. Yes, it goes through Kubarsi's legs as well, and it's 2-1 Atletico Madrid, who now are top of the table at Christmas in La Liga, and Barca suffered a third home defeat in a row. And on top of that, it's the first win for Diego Simeone as an Atletico Madrid manager at Barcelona, not at the Camp Nou, but at least at the Montjuic. Absolute mad game, but gutsy performance by Atletico Madrid, who were very much second best the entire evening. A 98th minute equalizer to make it 2-2 at home against Alaves means that Valencia are not bottom of the table anymore. However, they're still level on points with Real Valladolid, however with a game less against Real Madrid at home. So yeah. Speaking of Real Madrid, in Jesus Navas' last game they were absolutely ruthless, especially in the first half. Mbappe in the 10th minute opening the scoring after being assisted by Rodrigo, then Valverde in the 20th and Rodrigo in the 34th, already opening up a 3-0 lead at home. However, Romero then pulls one back for Sevilla in the 35th minute, and Sevilla were in the game, but Real Madrid actually also led them. Mbappe himself assisting Brahim Diaz in the 53rd to make it 4-1, and then it was cruise control. It was a nice goal by Luka Bacchio to cut the scoreline to 4-2, but in the end this was always going to be Real Madrid, where the stars up front seemingly get things together. Sandro Ramirez finds the winner for Las Palmas against Espanyol, extending their unbeaten streak to 4 games, and they're sitting now relatively comfortably mid-table. Meanwhile, Villarreal end their funky form with a 5-2 away win at Leganés, who had just beaten Barca away from home. However, that was not an easy one. In the first half, Leganés twice took a lead, twice equalized by Barry. Then Oscar Rodriguez is sent off for Leganés. Barry gives Villarreal the first lead of the afternoon. And then when Sáenz is also sent off, so 2 red cards for Leganés in stoppage by Moreno and Cabañas. add 2 more. And the last game for Christmas ends in a 1-1 draw between Betis and Rayo Vallecano. Isco with a penalty gave Betis the lead, quickly equalized Palathon early in the second half. Despite the horrific sponsorship rules, I would argue that the French Cup is at least in contention for being the best cup competition on the European continent. And this round of 64 had 2 notable upsets, namely Le Puy, 4th tier, beating Montpellier by no other scoreline than 4-0 at home. But also 2nd tier Dunkirk going to Auxerre and winning their 1-0 is at least a minor upset. But then we also had the island teams. For instance, Saint-Joseph from Martinique went all the way to Bastia only to be beaten 5-0. Saint-Denis from La Réunion go to 5th tier Dives Cabourg and lose there 2-0. But let's focus on the big teams from Ligue 1. Lille go to Rouen, win thanks to an early goal by Ismaili, 1-0. Toulouse, meanwhile, were reduced to 10 men early on. However, also Haute Lyonnais got a red card midway through the second half, and so he got all the way to penalties, where Toulouse missed the first one. However, Haute Lyonnais missed 2. Ajaccio gives Brest a rather unforced win at 4th tier La Roche. Nice also had the work cut out for them at 5th tier UC Courtenay. They miss a penalty in the 4th minute, then are reduced to 10 men when they already were 1 goal down in the 11th minute. Ndombele gets an equalizer in the 60th minute, but then it goes all the way to penalties, where Courtenay missed their 4th and Nice remained perfect. Meanwhile, while the scoreline sounds tight, Lyon had a 2-0 lead going into stoppage time through Benrahma and Mikotadze. To me, the outstanding fixture was 4th tier Bordeaux. It still hurts saying that, to be honest. Against Stade Rennais at home, they had a 1-0 lead. However, Truffert in the 29th already equalized in the second half. Rennes just too much for a 4th tier side. Reims also had a little wobble at Stil Mutzig. It was 1-1 after they had a 1-0 lead at the half. But then they run away 3-1 winners. Keita Nakamura, of course, not scoring. Monaco, though, had the luxury of beating 6th tier Saint-Jean 4-1 away from home, and even missing 2 penalties in the process when they had a 2-0 lead. One before the half by Mbolo, one after the half by Minamino. However, the result never really in doubt. And then we had 2 Ligue 1 duels. Marseille, emphatic 4-0 away win at Saint-Etienne. Yes, Saint-Etienne were playing with a man less starting in the 21st minute, and then quickly after Mason Greenwood and Rabiot gave Marseille a 2-0 half-time lead. Luis Enrique and Heuberg completing the rout. On the other side, you could tell the PSG had a tough game at Monaco in the midweek because they were a little bit struggling at last. Yes, still controlling games, still having the better chances. Marquinhos hitting the crossbar in the first half. However, Nzola gave Lens the lead in the 66th minute. It was quickly equalized by Gonzalo Ramos because Danzo fell over, and then very emphatic finish. It goes all the way to penalties after 90 minutes already. Veridis Safonov, who is the hero, making a great save on Nzola's penalty with his hand and the foot, putting it on the crossbar, and then also saving the last one by Diouf. PSG through the next round. Well, Liga Portugal was also pushing it right up until Christmas, but what an exciting set of results. The top 3 are only separated by a single point. That is quite exciting. First off, we had Porto going to Moreirense and winning 3-0. Samu, Mora and Franco, the 3 goal scorers. And at that point, the table was tight enough that Porto actually took the lead. Then in a big match for 4th place, which at the moment still means Europe and potentially Europa League, Braga beat Santa Clara away from home 2-0. This was high-flying Santa Clara, who also had to play overtime in the Portuguese Cup. In the midweek, speak of Portuguese Cup, there were also 2 more results by lower level teams in there as well. The game turned when Lucas Suarez was sent off for a yellow red card already in the 22nd minute. First he gets a yellow card and then he's complaining too much about it. That means Braga were playing for the majority of the match with a man more, and it's Bruma who gets the breakthrough in 51st, and then penalty seals the deal for Braga. Meanwhile, Sporting were the other team that was involved in this overtime thriller in the Portuguese Cup. However, they were leggy in a way, could not break down Gil Vicente, even when there was a penalty given for them. It turns out that the referee then in the end overturned it. Still a little bit of a nebulous decision to me, to be honest, but it ends only in a 0-0, and Sporting, ever since Ruben Amorim left, not looking quite the same. And so the new leaders are city rivals Benfica, who of course beat Estoril at home 3-0. Pavlidis in the first half and then 2 Amdouni goals in the second half, settling the game for the Eagles. However, Sporting can get back on top if they win the derby just before the new year. So this concludes my summary of this very eventful weekend. Please let me know how you saw these games and where do you see these leagues going. I also want to wish you again a very Merry Christmas. I have not yet decided whether I will do midweek and weekend reviews during the Christmas break, because after all, it's a break. My focus will be probably on other videos, year-end videos, and also especially on family. So I'm not sure if I will manage to also pull out these types of videos. On the other side, I'll be watching the games, so let's see about that. One thing though is definitely for certain. I will talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!